So, Michael, of course, at the end of the year, Avatar, do you know what the movie's called?
The Way of Water?
No.
I thought, is it not called that?
The Way of the Water.
Oh my goodness, you're really gonna be like that. It's gonna be one of those episodes, is it?
It's gonna be one of those. But anyway, James Cameron pitched the Avatar sequels as imagine a series of novels like Lord of the Rings existed, and we're adapting them. Do you understand that? But here's the thing, of course. That was great in theory, but then I had to go and create the freaking novels from which to adapt it.
Oh, okay. So he's basically complaining that he had to come. That's really funny because, like, you know how they say there aren't original ideas in Hollywood nowadays, and it's always just like they're always just adapting things. Everything's based on a pre-existing intellectual property. I like that idea that he's suggesting this thing like, I had to write a story, like an original idea.
Basically, he's just saying, "Oh yeah, I had to create all these sequels. I had to write them," and yeah, obviously, like,
that's really funny.
Great stuff, James Cameron. Look, I hope the movies are good. But yeah, that is funny.
Na'vi, more like not very creative. Hmm? Hello and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films that have come out in the near and distant past. We give them a couple of watches and evaluate them beyond first impressions. I'm your host Michael and I'm joined as always by my co-host Luke, and this week we are celebrating the release of the film Thor Love and Thunder, right? And we're going to be looking at therefore another Marvel film, and we could have chosen any Marvel film really because there's so many we haven't actually spoken about yet. So many we could have chosen. So of course we chose Eternals. So Luke, why don't you tell us a thing or two about Eternals?
Yes, Michael, and of course we are reviewing it, like you say, because of the upcoming Thor: Love and Thunder, the forthcoming Thor and Love and Thunder.
Good joke.
The fourth. That works because, of course, this is the fourth Thor movie.
That's true.
Did you know that? Yeah. So that works a couple of ways, but of course, so we're doing Eternals for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's also kind of based in space, like Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy. In the Marvel universe, they kind of share that same, like on different alien planets and so on and so forth. And this is kind of like that. Although of course it's based all on Earth, but the Celestials create all these planets, so you're kind of related. And also quite crucially, it is the worst reviewed Marvel movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It has I believe a 44% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is lower than any other Marvel movie. And it was the first ever Marvel movie to be rotten. So the thing is, a lot of Marvel movies are quite, interchangeable. They're very similar style. They're like factory produced essentially. That's what they are. Some are different and are a lot better. Like for instance, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Even though I don't think it should be nominated for Best Picture, it raised its head above, all the sludge that comes out from Marvel. But this, went under the sludge. This was actually a lot worse. So it's just interesting from that point of view, to be honest. Okay, how bad is this? Is this Marvel movie, the Eternals? So you're looking forward to seeing how bad it is, Michael?
Well, I've already seen the film, but I'm looking forward to discussing all of its intricate details.
Yes, okay, so it is a 2021 is Eternals, American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics race of the same name. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So Eternals...
So we're going there, are we?
The Eternals are a race. So, wow, okay. Well, why didn't you put any black people in this one then?
Yeah, Marvel? That's true.
Because Phastos, he isn't black, he's an Eternal, so...
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, actually, there's suddenly the representation has gone through the floor.
Produced by Marvel Studios, is the what film in the MCU, Michael? What number?
21st.
The 26th.
Okay.
The film is directed by Chloe Zhao, and the screenplay is also by Chloe Zhao and Ryan Firpo and Kaz Firpo. So what an interesting name.
Yes.
Kaz Firpo.
It sounds like a Star Wars name.
Yes, it does actually. Based on Eternals by Jack Kirby. So he wrote this. Stars Gemma Chan, Richard Madden, Kumail Nanjiani, Liam McHugh, Brian Tyree Henry, Lauren Ridloff, Barry Keoghan, Don Lee, Harish Patel, Kit Harington, Salma Hayek, and Angelina Jolie. They got Angelina Jolie in the MCU. Wow.
Yeah.
The movie was released on November the 5th, 2021 in the United States. So yeah, about 7 months ago. Is that right? Something like that. Or maybe 8. And Michael, can you tell me what the budget was for Eternals?
So obviously it's in the hundreds of millions. I'm just wondering how high I should go. And I mean, I think a safe bet to me seems like 200 million.
That is spot on.
Oh, what I mean.
Exactly right. Nailed it. Yeah, nice round number. So it was, not the hardest to guess, but fair play. Nailed it. Now, here's the interesting question.
Oh yeah.
the box office for Eternals. How much did
Yeah.
it make? Because of course, 1 month later, fucking Spider-Man: No Way Home was the third highest grossing movie of all time. I think.
Yeah,
something
it's
like that.
the whole thing's weird. I have no idea. I mean, like, I mean, goodness me, like, I'm almost wondering whether or not this film even made its money back, and my answer's like probably not. I guess I'm gonna assume maybe it did a little bit good, and think maybe it made like 300 million.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were going to go under 200, which would have been bad. Because that would have been, a mark against you. Yeah, you would have gone less than half. Because the correct answer is 402.
Okay.
So that's the thing. If you do that whole thing of marketing, and there was a lot of marketing for this movie, I remember, with fucking like Druig, next to it. It's just a poster of Druig, like with
My
his
favorite character.
yeah, with his arms around his chest, like, hey, look, it's Druig. Look how cool Druig looks. Yeah, so 200 million budget. If it's 200 million for marketing, that would mean about 400 budget. So which means they made like 2 million profit. Maybe, but yeah. So this movie was a bit of a failure because, of course, normally Marvel movies, especially for this one, they were hoping for like at least 800 million, probably.
Yeah.
Like double what they ended up actually getting. But anyway, Michael, there may be a reason for that. Did you like the Eternals?
No.
Wow, another sigh. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just like this film. It felt it was a weird one because like it's kind of like it was just very boring. Like there was nothing. The thing is with this film, it's not like funny. It's not like stupid, and it doesn't, almost like in a way it doesn't feel like a Marvel film. And I'm not saying that because I'm like, usually Marvel films are great, but it's like usually Marvel films are competent, I guess, is what I'm thinking. And this film just felt like it just flopped very hard.
I would not say Marvel films are normally competent. I think there's a lot of Marvel films which are really bad, but this one is just like really like boring.
Yeah,
I think that's the key thing.
Yeah,
it's just stuffed full of so much shit, which means other more important things get squeezed out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like character, just learning about the characters. I genuinely think it was stupid of them to try and have this bigger plot, introduce this many characters, and introduce this many concepts all in a 2.5 hour movie. It was never going to work.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously it's, we'll talk later on, but it's just like kind of crazy how much this feels like, in a way, it isn't a Marvel film. And that's partially because like it does seem so detached from the rest of the Marvel films, and obviously introduces all of this like completely new lore and like world building.
Oh yeah, and a lot of that lore and world building is really stupid as well.
Yes.
And there's a lot of it, and a lot of it's dumb, and it really doesn't help. That's a very bad combination. But anyway,
Yes.
how many nitpicks do you have, Michael?
I've got two, just two.
I have also got two.
Jinx.
So you go first.
Yeah, all right. So first of all, a woman called Cersei, the main character, she's talking to Richard Madden. Now, as you know, as a massive Game of Thrones fan, Richard Madden plays Robb Stark, whose dad was indirectly killed by a character in Game of Thrones, also called Cersei. So what I'm saying is, characters played by Richard Madden star in two, big franchises and have diametrically kind of opposed relationships with people called Cersei. Anyway, now this is the other. Okay, this one's not a nitpick exactly; it's more of a question. But I felt like talking about it. I want to know how Kumali. That's it, right? No, sorry, I am combining his names together. It's Nanjiani, right? Yeah, okay. So I want to know how. I'm just going to call him Nanjiani because that sounds fancy. So I want to know how Nanjiani's character was able to pull off the transition from being his dad to being his son. Because he says, he's like, oh, this is my...
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, this is my granddad, this is my dad, this is me. And it's like, so what happens when he went from being his granddad to his dad? Like, did he just Did the granddad just disappear, or did he like put on some old man makeup and continue pretending to be the granddad while also playing the son? Just to create kind of
Kumail or Kingo. You're never in the same room with your dad. I've never seen the two of you stand side by side.
Yeah,
together.
especially since it's like a dynasty of like Bollywood performers. You'd think there'd be some point where somebody's like, let's get the whole dynasty together. Let's get you and your son and your dad.
Yes.
Yeah. There's every single like time that the new guy comes along and announces like he's like, after having said that I would never act, now that my dad has died in a horrific car accident where his body was never recovered, I've decided to start acting. Is that how he does it every time?
Yes, something like that. Yeah, I mean, the funeral must be really tough as well, like, to get that going. Yeah,
yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a dumb thing, but whatever. That's why it's a nitpick though, because it's just in there for like 5 seconds. Okay, there should be cave paintings. This is my nitpick of the deviants all around the world, or on pyramids and shit.
Yeah.
Because the Eternals can wipe out the memories of the Eternals. Once the humans see them,
Yeah.
they can clear that. But like a guy sees a deviant, because the deviants are all over the world, and of course the Eternals can't kill them all at once. So like guy sees a deviant, paints it, like, there should be like these deviants popping up throughout like human history and all different types of ancient cultures as these incredibly like evil predators. But obviously that I don't think is the case. Nothing like that is ever mentioned. Superman exists in this universe. That's the other thing. Like Icarus gets compared to Superman.
Oh yeah. It's like so obviously he doesn't. I would assume that like you mean like I would assume it's like Superman exists as a character.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just find that very weird.
Yeah, I don't know if they have any other do they have any other references to DC characters in any of the Marvel?
No, they don't. They do not. Just that's. I think that's the only one. The only time it's happened because it is so obvious he's like Superman. But yeah, like maybe they were like, oh, we have to like just say it.
Yeah, got to lampshade that.
Yeah, I guess lampshade it. Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't really work anyway. Oh yeah, and another kind of nitpick. There's the denial of climate change. Like Icarus says that Earth is heating because the celestial body is rising from the core. Not because of
I also thought it was weird how they go to a place where it's snowing, and one of the characters says, "So much for the Earth heating because the celestial body is rising from the core."
Yes, exactly. That's good. But yeah, it's interesting that in a movie which Disney produces, and a lot of Disney shareholders probably have a lot of shares in other let's say oil companies.
Very subtle.
Yeah. Yeah, let's say that and just leave it at that.
Say no more. I think we all know what you mean.
So let's go on to the. That's not really that serious, obviously, but let's go on to the concept or the plot of this movie, Michael. So the Eternals are a team of ancient aliens who have been living on Earth in secret for thousands of years. When an unexpected tragedy forces them out of the shadows, they are forced to reunite against mankind's most ancient enemy, the Deviants.
I do find that name funny, Deviants.
Yeah, like, yeah, I mean, it's just, what came first? Like, the term deviants? Or did fucking Arishan, the celestial guy, call them deviants, and then all of humanity?
Yeah, maybe what it is like the deviants spent some time in like ancient Greece, where they started, they picked up some of the sexual customs of the ancient Greeks. But then after that, they went to some kind of cultures that were less accepting of that, and that's when they started being called deviants.
Ah, I see. Yes. And we're out of Pride Month now, so we can
say that, yeah.
Yes. But anyway, so just in the plot, like, it's very simple. So there's deviants attacking the Eternals. The Eternals have to figure stuff out about the situation with the celestial, body being born in Earth, and basically a lot of big concepts are thrown about regarding, the deviants and the celestial birthing, and all of that shit. And you basically, just have to keep on like, as an audience member, this is why it's quite boring, just like regurgitating like information.
Yes.
Like, it's like, okay, right, yeah, because there's so much that's thrown at you, and that's just what this whole movie is, stuff getting explained to you in various ways. Yeah. And also they have to get the band back together. That's what they do for like an hour and a half as well.
Yeah, this film felt like, the analogy I was kind of thinking for is, it felt like watching like a film that was like based on some kind of really kind of esoteric, like 1960s, 1970s sci-fi series. Like, I've not seen the Dune films, and I do want to watch them, but I imagine those, like, based on just what I've heard about the books and stuff, I imagine it's quite like a dense, heavy kind of, like, there's lots of lore to it, and that's kind of like what, like, this film felt like an incompetent person making like a Dune film, where it's like you start off and it's just like explains every single thing about this universe and all of these different characters and like the mechanics of it. And yeah, that's how this film felt to me. I was like, wow, this feels like somebody. Or another actually good example would be the kind of Scientology films, where, you know, like Battlefield Earth.
I guess so.
Yeah, where it's like they've got to explain like all of this kind of pseudo religious stuff as part, like kind of weave it into the world building. It's just like you just get this massive dump on you about like, oh, the ancient aliens came to Earth and they did this and blah blah blah. It's like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Well, we'll get into that right now because, of course, the movie starts with that. So I don't think it's a good thing if your movie setup or premise is so complicated, like that so much so that you need a title crawl. Because obviously that never really happens in movies apart from Star Wars, and that's kind of a cute thing they do, you know, because it's like, oh, it's tradition that needs to happen.
Except in Rogue One.
Yes, except in Rogue One. But this one here, yeah, it's just, wow, you're doing a title crawl. Okay, you're already kind of admitting there's a lot to take in here.
Yes.
So it's 5000 BC, 10 superpowered Eternals, Ajax, Cersei, Icarus, Kingo, Sprite. Can you name the other 5, Michael?
Fastos? Did you say him
Yes.
yet? Okay.
No.
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh, yeah.
And Druig. Have you said him yet? Okay.
No.
Who else is left? Like, sorry, how many are left?
You got 2 left.
2 left.
They're both women.
Oh, they're both women. Yeah. There's Angelina Jolie's character. You haven't mentioned her yet, have you?
No.
But I don't know what she's called. And then the other one would be
at the end of the movie. She corrects the Fastus's son, Fastus's adopted son, which we'll get into that later.
Wait, can I just ask? Is the other one Salma Hayek's character?
No, we mentioned her. That's
okay,
Ajax.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, got you.
Which sounds kind of like Ajax.
Yeah,
and that's what I always want to say.
The last one left is like the one who's kind of crap. I'm not even sure if I can remember who. Like, I'm trying to think of all of them in my head. Angelina Jolie's character. It's one of those things. If you tell me, I will remember it. But I'm just like,
it's not Athena, is it?
Yeah, it's Thena. Yeah, okay,
there you go.
That's really I do remember that a lot now. Yeah, okay. Wait, who's the actor who plays the other one then?
I don't actually know her name. She was in another movie called The Sound of Metal, though.
Oh, yeah, okay. Wait, hold on, is that Sprite? Or oh wait, no, you've already said that, haven't you?
Sprite was not in The Sound of Metal.
Yeah. Goodness.
She was at that fucking camp where the guy learned to heal.
Oh, really? Okay, I was thinking she was his girlfriend.
No.
Okay,
it's the one that appears like, in terms of getting the band back together, she's the last to get together, you know?
Okay.
She's Beth.
Oh, yeah. So, like, how many times people say her name even?
What's her superpower, remember?
Her superpower is like, is she really fast?
She is really fast, yes.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember.
It is, of course, the well-known and beloved Makari.
Oh my god, I don't even remember it when you say it. How many times do they say her name in the film? They probably say it more than once. But
I think Druig says it a couple of times.
Okay, yeah.
Because Druig has got a thing for Makari that's really well developed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And fleshed out. Yeah, but anyway, so those are your Eternals, guys. Those are your heroes.
Yeah.
And just the shitty Avengers.
It is really funny that they are like it literally, like, this whole thing. I mean, I'm sure other people have said this, but it's like if they made the Avengers without making any of the solo films beforehand. But
that's a common criticism. Yeah, so, of course, they were all sent by the celestial Arishem to Earth on their starship, the Domo, to exterminate the invasive deviants. So that's the thing. All of that is thrown at you in the first 2 minutes. You know, the celestial create the universe, then the deviants try to eat intelligent life. And I'm just thinking, like, I don't know why the celestials, couldn't do that themselves, couldn't exterminate, like, life on Earth, and why do they need the deviants? And just basically... Yeah, all I'm thinking of, there's so many, things that are thrown at you, and yet you have still so many answers. It's just a very discombobulating start to the movie. And also we have this thing about the Eternals are meant to be composed of all different parts of humanity to give them a good understanding of humanity. I guess that's it, I don't think they explain that in the movie, though.
Yeah.
But I think that's the reason why one of them's a kid, like why you've got all different races, which is of course good for representation. Some might say convenient, Michael.
Whoa.
But yeah, no, obviously.
Some might say go woke, go broke.
But okay, clearly this is important. I just want to know, like, why do they speak English then? I do want to know that, because the thing, it might sound like a pointless nitpick.
No, yeah.
But it's like, okay, you've gone into the effort of explaining all this backstory, all this lore, and yet they still speak English. I don't know, just have them speak fucking Babylon or some made-up language. Who the fuck cares, Like, just have them speak that at the start. I don't know. And why do they have American accents as well? Some of them.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, for that matter, it's kind of interesting actually that their accents don't change in the film. Like, not that I would necessarily expect this film, but it's kind of just like she like obviously Cersei lives in London, and she also has an English accent. And
Very convenient.
Like so she had an English accent way back, and she must have just been sat around this whole time being like. But the thing is, also when you think about it, the other crazy thing about it is, of course, that we all know that the English accent has kind of evolved and changed over time. So she must have been sat there in like kind of Tudor times when everyone was talking like all different, and she'd be there like, oh, I can't wait until they invent received pronunciation.
Okay, yeah, but we're getting into kind of this is more nitpicking territory here. But I'm just like, well, you can at least have them like speak like a different language if you care so much about their backstory. I'm guessing a Druid. So what he does, he brainwashes all the early humans into forgetting their encounters with the Eternals.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, I was kind of assuming that too. Today, I don't know that they explain that, but I was thinking kind of the same thing of like they probably just get rid of it.
Yeah, otherwise the Eternals would be known as gods throughout all culture. And yeah, again, Druid, this character, he kind of has an interesting moral dilemma. Should he stop human violence or let them have their free will? But it's not really explored that well. Again, a lot of ideas in this movie which could potentially be interesting unexplored. And of course, nice little coincidence he decides to do that. Take those conquistadors and Aztecs into the Amazon or whatever. Just right as the last deviant is killed. So it's like, right, he can go and do that now. Because he's not needed anymore. So they all split up. So now we cut to the present day. So Cersei and Sprite are living together in London. Cersei's partner, Icarus, left her centuries earlier. And she's now in a relationship with a human called Dane Whitman, who works at the Natural History Museum. Who plays Dane Whitman, Michael?
Kit Harington.
And he's not in Game of Thrones, is he?
He is in Game of Thrones.
I know wait, he is. Oh.
Yes.
Anyway, is it weird when he says Cersei? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you're right. The thing is, I don't think that Kit Harington and Cersei, or rather, sorry, Jon Snow, who is of course who Kit Harington plays, and Cersei have a less developed relationship.
Okay, fine. Anyway,
so there we go.
Great. So the trio are attacked by the deviant Crow. Did you know that's his name?
No, I didn't. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'd heard that. I feel like now you're saying it, I feel like I remember somebody saying Crow, but the thing is, when they said it, I feel like I didn't know what they were talking about. Like, I remember hearing somebody being like, Crow, and I was like, where's the crow?
Where's the crow? Anyway, so Icarus arrives and chases the creature away. And that's the only time that ever happens, that a deviant just gets chased away.
Yeah, I know. I kind of thought that was weird. Like, they seem pretty intense, but no, sometimes they're fine.
Because you can't kill him yet, because, the plot needs to develop, But anyway, so the Deviants specifically went after the Eternals, Michael. That's what they're doing. Because they went after the Eternals in London, and they did it as well in the Amazon. My question is why? Why are they doing that? Like, did they want revenge on the Eternals? Like, surely, that if I was a Deviant, I'd stay as far away from the Eternals as possible, because it's the only fucking thing that can kill me.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. In fact, like, I mean, the other question, why do they even like? Why? Yeah, the deviants should just attack everywhere the Eternals aren't.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why they show up in the movie is so we can have random action scenes. And I think they don't even explain why the deviants are attacking the Eternals. Because again, the Eternals attack the deviants to protect humanity. Well, why are the deviants attacking the Eternals? How do the deviants know where fucking Druid is in the fucking Amazon? That's a pretty big place. I mean, I don't know. Seems kind of stupid. But anyway, so then we get a flashback to when the the Eternals are in Babylon, and this is where I think the movie really starts to fall apart. Because the thing is, normally a flashback doesn't last long, and then you go back, to the present day. But this flashback is so long, and I do not have any idea why it wasn't behind the London scene, and chronologically this just wasn't in order. Like, it makes it feel, very slow. You have this dramatic moment with a demon attacking the main characters in London, and like, oh, there's some bit on the news about what's going on with these earthquakes. There is a bit of intrigue building, and then we cut back to a scene of the Eternals doing stuff that we already know they do in Babylon. Like defeating the deviants, saving humanity. And it just removes all momentum from the movie. It's really bizarre editing decisions, in my opinion, Michael.
Yeah, I feel like they did it because they were like, oh, we can't have like, we can't have too much history at once, but we've got to show the history. But it's like, to be honest, first of all, they didn't really need to show the history. Like, the whole Babylon scene, I mean, I know stuff happened, but I feel like it could have just been explained or mentioned at some point,
Yeah,
or like shortened and shown at like an earlier point, something like that. Because
Well,
just
it's
as it
used-
is, it's so random.
yeah, but it's that Babylon scene is used to show us the past regarding Circe and Icarus,
Yeah,
and it's used to show Ajax talking to the Celestial. So it has a purpose. But
yeah.
and
I think they
again-
should have just done it with a little montage. Like I would have been fine with, like everyone's favorite film, Wolverine Origins. I
Or
don't know if
Rocky.
you've seen it, but they like when they're showing kind of Wolverine, going from his childhood to being obviously an adult in the actual modern day, they just show him like a montage of him like fighting through various wars throughout history, like the American War, or Revolutionary War and the Civil War and blah blah blah. And yeah, I felt like they should have done that there, just like shown the Eternals fighting, like in Egypt and then in Babylon and then in wherever else, Rome. Just show it,
Yeah, I mean that would have been, I guess, a nice quick
and then
way to do
maybe
it. Yeah.
somehow they could have like had like maybe just a scene in each place. I don't know, to establish some
No,
character
that
stuff.
sounds very
I'm not
expensive.
sure. Yeah, that's true. Actually, you're right.
That sounds very expensive. We'll just shoot on Babylon and do everything in that
Yeah.
one set. Again, we've got $200 million, Michael. It's not like that's the thing. Like, it's
Yes.
just I just have a complaint about the fact that it's a flashback. Like, there's no reason why you can't do it chronologically. I guess they maybe they were concerned that like, no, we need to get them in present day, otherwise the audience will be like, oh, what are these weirdos? Why am I watching like a History Channel movie? Like the Marvel audiences would get scared.
Yeah.
Like, it's not happening in modern day. But anyway, I don't know, but it's dumb because it again removes all momentum from the movie. But in this flashback again, we do get a sex scene, the MCU's first between Icarus and Circe. Was it worth the wait? That is the question. Look,
Yeah.
Almost Basic Instinct. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty some pretty intense stuff. And like ultimately I mean part of it again is like it's a bit weird because the main criticism of this film, again, I feel like you would say, is that it just feels like it's out of place in the Marvel universe. So it just seems like
I don't
a
know.
bad
The thing
move.
is, I don't think that's the main criticism. I don't, because I don't
You're
really
okay,
care
yeah.
about that. I think it's just a bad movie on itself.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. But yeah, I don't know, like so maybe not the main criticism, but let's just say an aspect to consider in kind of like the way this film is received, because it feels like, I guess like the thing is, if the film had a point, I'd be like, well, at least it had a point, at least it's like relevant. Because, for example, one of the criticisms of the Phantom Menace is that like you barely even need to watch it because most of what it establishes doesn't even follow on.
Yes.
And yeah, so I feel like it's kind of a similar thing here of like, not only is it bad, but it's not even like a film where you really need to watch it for context, at least right now. And yeah, with that said, the fact that it like they just make it feel more disconnected from the other Marvel films.
Oh, so you're saying you don't
by
like
having...
the fact there's a sex scene in it because it feels disconnected from other MCU movies? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Also,
Wow,
I'm,
you fucking nerd.
Yeah. Also, I feel like the Asian cells, is that what they're called? The who don't like.
So the incels who are Asian.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they would have been angry that like the first sex scene is an Asian woman with a white man.
But no, they're not Asian and white. They're of the race called the
Oh yeah, that
Eternals.
is actually true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But okay, so you want, your PG-13, like, oh, sex is icky. That's what you want from your Marvel movies, Michael. Okay, I see why I liked Basic Instinct more than you.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying. I guess I'm just saying, like, I actually do feel like sex in superhero films is something which, like, obviously it works in something like Deadpool, but I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like there's something about it which just is in like a obviously, yeah. So if you've got like a kind of unconventional superhero film, it's like fine, but or like not fine, but it makes sense. But yeah, just in like a film where I'm supposed to be just watching it as a regular old superhero film, I don't know if I want to see people bang.
Wow.
I didn't want to see Spider-Man bang.
You're saying that ironically or not? I don't know.
I don't want to see. I didn't want to see Zendaya naked.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, my criticism isn't that, it doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. It's like, well, it's pointless putting it in just to say, oh, we've got the first MCU sex scene. If it's like very dark and like there's like one pump from fucking Icarus and then that's it.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree with you. Like as a sex scene as well. I mean, it does. Yeah, like I guess that's kind of my other feeling. Maybe like because obviously what I'm saying is like, oh, why'd they have it in? Like I'm kind of saying as if they shouldn't have had it in there. But I feel like part of it is almost like I'm more like, why have it in there when it's not really any point? And I guess what I was saying
Yes.
about like the whole like I get having sex scenes in Deadpool, but like not really in kind of your standard Marvel film is because I can't really imagine any situation where I would feel the need, like where like a sex scene would feel in place in like
Yes.
a kind of superhero film.
Well, I can because a good superhero movie. Superhero movies don't just need to be like PG-13 shit. Like hey, if you want to, it's part of life, and that can communicate things between a character. Or between two characters, obviously. There is a utility to that, and it can work.
Do they have a sex scene in the Dark Knight Batman film? Like, doesn't he bang like Talia al Ghul? I feel like there's the bad woman who it turns out she was actually.
I don't think they had a sex scene though. I think they're just under
yeah.
the covers after it finishes. Yeah. But anyway, so again, Marvel used it as a selling point for the movie, and that's all it was in. I think.
Yeah.
For,
when are we
for
gonna
a
get?
selling point?
When are we going to get our first flushing toilet in a Marvel film?
So anyway, the Eternals then travel to South Dakota to reunite with their leader Ajax. Again, this would be so good if this happened after it followed on from, what's up with these earthquakes? But anyway, we get this Babylon flashback.
Oh, actually, you know what? You just reminded me of something which I meant to say, which is I also feel like if you live in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point, how can you, like, when you feel an earthquake, I feel like I wouldn't be like, oh, it's an earthquake. I'd be like, oh, something's like, this is like only, I guess, a few months after everybody came back from being erased from existence. There's got to be part of you that's like, I'm not sure if I can confidently say this is an earthquake, dudes. And right now,
I just want to kill myself. I just wouldn't want to like go to like work.
You would feel so.
Anything.
Imagine how stressed you would feel all the time, knowing that just like randomly everybody died.
Yeah, and it's just like, there could be like the alien Globolob from the planet Snicky. I don't know, some random fucking alien from the planet Xenomorph who comes in and just destroys everyone. And, that just happens every Tuesday or whatever, and the Avengers have to stop it. But anyway, so Cersei is chosen by Ajax as her successor once they go to South Dakota and find her dead, granting her the ability to communicate with Arishem. So this is the finding people portion of the movie, Michael. So you have Sprite, Cersei, and Icarus, and they have to go and find Ajax, only to find out that she is dead. And then they have to, of course, go and find Kumail Nanjiani and a bunch of other characters along the way. But we'll first talk about Kumail Nanjiani first.
Yes.
You know his character's name?
I've already been told it, right? I literally, his character's name, you ready for this? I'm not looking it up, yeah, I did know this, sorry.
No, you didn't. You can't keep saying you knew it and you have to look it up. It's
Something I didn't know. Yeah, Kingo.
Kingo, which of course his first name starts with a K. I thought it'd be easy, but obviously not. So anyway, Kingo. They find Kingo, Michael, and again, people pointed it out. It's so funny that he got jacked to play this role. He's going to be in the Eternals. He's a guy who's in fucking Marvel.
Because he's like obviously a kind of comedic guy.
Yeah, and like they did the same with Chris Pratt. He's got that Marvel body now that these superheroes need to have, and he doesn't even take his shirt off. And then he whined about people making fun of him on Twitter or something. I don't know. Which
is the true alpha move.
I know. I mean, I hope all those steroids and that jaw surgery was worth it.
Yeah. The good news is nobody has ever made fun of Chris Pratt on Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you think what if Kumail Nanjiani like joins a anti-LGBT church? Do you think that would be like just like it's worked for Chris Pratt?
Oh yeah, the Chris Pratt. But then Chris Pratt recently said religion is oppressive as fuck.
Wait, did he really say that?
Yeah, he said that recently. So
was that on
I don't
Twitter
know.
Or
no, he said it in an interview with someone. I don't know what's going on.
What an enigma he is.
I know, right? But anyway, so I think the thing with Kumail Nanjiani, he was tricked by Chloe Zhao. Her sneaky Chinese tactics.
Did she want to see his sexy body?
No, I think that originally that he was due to have a fight scene, and that's why he'd have his like shirt off and show like how strong he was. But then they changed it afterwards to a dance, like a Bollywood thing.
That's To be fair, like he could have been topless during the Bollywood dance.
I guess.
Yeah,
but the thing
kind of reminds me of in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where Matt gets really ripped. And then everyone just dismisses it.
The thing is, he can't dance. Like he can't dance, which is an issue. And also, like Kumail Nanjiani's from Pakistan. The Bollywood thing is, Indian. Do you think, Chloe Zhao, like she didn't care about that? She only cares about the fucking people from China.
Oh yeah, that is a good point.
Oh, who cares? The Indians, the Pakistanis, they're all the same. How would you feel if you were a Pakistani being asked to perform as a Bollywood actor?
You know what? I would feel like I was actually achieving huge amounts for solving the kind of geopolitical conflict in that region.
Okay.
I think next she should have, or what's her face, Gal Gadot play a Palestinian. That's the next move. She's just got to slowly work away, and then have like a North Korean play a South Korean. You can just solve all of these geopolitical conflicts.
But Chloe Zhao,
Russian play Ukrainian.
Yeah, but Chloe Zhao really fucked over Kumail. She really did. I mean, you've got obviously the fucking getting raped when he doesn't need to, and then playing somebody from the hated country that you
Again,
that you hate.
Asian cells just can't catch a break.
Anyway, I will say Kumail Nanjiani. A lot of these scenes when all the Eternals are just talking, like he does carry those scenes sometimes. Like he does a lot of heavy lifting just by kind of just being entertaining. Like he's probably the best Eternal. I mean, let's ask you the question, Michael. What's your favorite Eternal? Is it Sprite? Is it Gilgamesh? What is it?
For me, it is Kingo.
Probably.
And also, I mean, I guess we need to bring up the fact that he has his little sidekick dude, who is definitely an actor I've seen in other stuff. But I don't know what he's called, and I don't really care. But his camera guy, and that's also kind of funny. Like I would say I found his presence entertaining
and necessary, just because a lot of the scenes it's just like, thank God he's in there making these comments. And the thing is, I don't really like Marvel quip so much, but it's good if you have like one comic relief character. I think that works fine in these kind of situations, but I hate the back and forth quippy banter really in Marvel movies.
You don't like how everyone's a comedian, as they say.
Yes, but you just have one guy making jokes. That kind of works. That's fine, and I think he does a good job. Anyway, so we get into another problem I have with this movie, Michael, which is there needs to be an everyman character, like along for the ride, because otherwise this movie, it just feels really hollow. If Kit Harington joined Cersei for some reason, that could work.
That's kind of weird because they establish him as like but then I mean they also have the weird and mid-credit scene, but whatever. Based, he seems like a kind of everyman character.
And obviously it would make sense if Cersei wants to show him this side of their life or her life. Now now he's found out about the fact that she's an Eternal. Obviously when they're all on the plane, like you said, I was like, oh yeah, there's nobody really to ground this story, is there? It's just these. Otherwise, it's just these weird demigod creatures in their weird world, and we can't relate to all of them. You kind of need that in a first movie like this. They all know each other, and they know everything about the Eternals, and they're good friends, and they know about the Deviants and so on, and we just don't. And you always feel like you're just on the outside of their conversations. Like, you don't feel connected to them. Like, and the Indian valet guy doesn't really count because he's just in there for comic relief. You need a character,
he doesn't ask any questions.
You need a character like Kit Harington in there. And I was thinking, really, and this got me thinking, well, if you don't have an everyman character in there, well, actually, a better solution would be just to, so you don't feel like an alien, like when you're watching all these weird demigods on this plane. So you don't feel like completely, like alienized. What's the word I'm looking for there?
Alienated?
Alienated, that's it. Yeah. That's it. Alienated when you're watching these scenes. You could have, again, a first movie that that establishes all these characters and they get to know their powers and all that shit. It would have to be a movie set in the past, but again, that would make more sense. In terms of,
or they could have in some way hinted at this stuff during the any of the events of the previous films, because it's so wild just how totally out of left field everything in this film comes.
Obviously they didn't plan it, so
it's just crazy they couldn't have been planning, maybe just in phase 3 just had a few Easter eggs or something. I'll also say
but this wasn't this wasn't planned, so the writers were sent a message from Kevin Feige. Well, to be fair, Chloe Zhao wanted to direct it, so I don't know, but anyway, they got this message, which was okay, you're gonna have to write something here that kind of skips around all the shit that has happened on planet Earth with all the Avengers. And you can't really, because you can't go back in time, and therefore the best that they could do, I think, was do just a first movie establishing all the characters in the past.
There was this really good film that got around these issues of kind of the main kind of team's involvement in historical events. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Minions. So I think what they should have done is have a scene where the Eternals get stuck on an ice planet for a while.
The thing is. Okay, so they go to Australia, and then Cersei contacts Arishem again, and we are hit with another load of plot info as well, just like the start. And this all happens in 4 minutes, and there's 3 main things to take in and absorb, or at least try to take in, and we're going to go through that right now. So firstly, Cersei learns that the mission of the Eternals was actually to prepare Earth for the emergence. So Arishem explains that for millions of years he has been planting the seeds of celestials inside planets where the energy from large populations allows the new celestials to be born. Okay, so a bit of a twist here. The celestials are kind of the bad guys whose emergence will destroy Earth and kill everyone. That's pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy twist, but there's much more added on top of that. The deviants were sent to destroy the apex predators of each planet to ensure the development of intelligent life.
Yes.
Okay. Again, all of this shit is like thrown at you in like 4 minutes, like I said. But when the deviants evolved and began hunting the planet's native populations, Arishem created the Eternals to counter them. Okay. So firstly, Michael, Arishem is a fucking idiot. Like, did he not foresee that this would happen with the deviants? Like, if you think about it for 2 minutes, ask yourself, when the deviants kill every predator which hunts intelligent life, will the deviants just die? Or are they gonna, try and start? Are they gonna start?
Yeah, and the other people too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they gonna the other life forms?
Yeah. Are they gonna start to eat the humans? And yes, that seems to be the case. And then they show a clip of the deviants as well killing the dinosaurs. But I mean, maybe the movie is suggesting that the dinosaurs weren't wiped out by natural disasters in the comic.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's crazy. How many kind of historical geological realities are they going to deny in this film?
I know, right? But yeah, he keeps. But this is the thing with Arishem. He keeps creating and recreating these planets so that celestials can be born. Why doesn't he program the deviants not to attack the intelligent native population once they finish killing the apex predators? Because he said he's done this again and again and again.
That's the thing I was confused about, the fact that this is like a thing he's done over and over, and it's like, well, why are you still making such rookie mistakes, you dingus?
Yeah, I know. If this has happened loads of times before, why not change the programming of the deviants so you don't need the Eternals? But yeah, maybe he just can't change the deviant programming. Once he's got one, he can't just alter them, which of course is ridiculous. But anyway, it's a very stupid concept.
Maybe the deviants are just born that way.
Yeah, you can't change them. Yeah, apparently. But anyway, so all of that was dumb. But then we get on to the third bit of plot information that gets fired at us, which is, with the reversal of the blip, Earth has reached the necessary population for the birth of the celestial Tiamat, which will result in Earth's destruction. So I imagine before the blip, humanity must have been like 1% short of birthing the celestial.
Yeah.
That must have really pissed off Arishem. He was this close to birthing a celestial, and then fucking Thanos snaps it and fucks everything up, right?
Yes, you've led me to an interesting thing which I was thinking about, which is, I was thinking, why didn't the Celestial make a deal with Thanos? This is basically it's a classic, the relationship between this film and the rest of the MCU. But I was thinking okay, so the Celestials are powerful, right? They're powerful and they're there, and you would think therefore that they would be aware of what's going on with the whole Thanos thing.
Yes.
And with that said, he must be there thinking to himself, hold on a minute, right? Thanos wants to wipe out half the life in the universe. I need to basically destroy souls in order to come into existence. So, based on the fact I'm a super powerful guy, and Thanos has to do this whole Infinity Gem thing plan like that, why don't we just team up our forces, and that way he can maybe wish everybody to, I don't know, a particular planet, and I can just appear there or something like that. They could have come up with a way, rather than, like you say, him just getting screwed, the Celestial just getting screwed over by Thanos, getting rid of half a life. It's basically he must have been thinking what a waste,
Yeah, they should have made, or he should have made the Eternals, Arishem should have made the Eternals stop Thanos, because of course that ruined his plan, or do a deal with Thanos. But the thing is, of course, these are all holes you can pick. This one is, of course, the fact that, we're in Phase 4, oh shit, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel for all these fucking MCU characters. The Eternals. Oh wait, their story kind of conflicts with the whole Thanos thing, quite obviously. But whatever, we'll just skip past it and we just won't mention it really at all. But yeah, basically Arishem would have been very pissed at Thanos. Just literally we just need 6 more babies to be born, and that's enough, but damn it, he just had to do the fucking snap. But anyway, so okay, you've got enough people now. The more important point, I think, generally, and this is what I couldn't understand, how the fuck does intelligent life give energy to birth a celestial? Please tell me, how does that work? The brain power of mankind somehow affects this being that is in the core of the earth? I'm sorry, but no, I can't go along with that. I don't care if it's in the fucking comics. That's stupid. I'm saying this, look, the MCU, superhero movies, all relies on, a general, just, we'll disregard a lot of, logic. Where's the connection, Michael?
Well, the reason why human beings are needed for Celestials to be born is because so it's like how you need a computer to make a computer program, and that's because computers are very smart because they can do like multiple kind of maths calculations. So basically, the problem is that like birds and like other animals, they can't do maths. So you need a human being so they can be like they can be like the computer program, which can be like the code to create the Celestials, because the Celestials are basically Sims characters.
Okay, but the thing is, the human beings don't do anything to the Celestial, right?
No, but I mean, it's like, let's say it's like the Matrix. How about that, right? So it's like they need to plug, but
they're not plugged in though. The humans.
Yeah, you're right.
Around.
Yeah, they're just around, and then like he basically. So okay, I think I'm right. So basically, just to clarify, he like busts out of the earth like an egg. Is that? That's basically, so the earth is like a giant.
Why do these like
celestial
apes,
egg?
Yeah, why do these like apes living on the surface of the earth? Like, why does that affect him? Like, why? Or is it just like a deal that Arishem has, like specifically that like, oh, so he, like this is just the thing that he does. Like, so once humanity evolves to a certain intelligence and certain like a number of people, then it's like completed. Like, okay, we've completed humanity. You've had your shot. Like, you're done now, and then we can move on. Is that it?
Yeah, it would have made more sense if it was just like a random timing thing. Like it just so happened, and that would like that way. It's kind of like the Thanos.
Yeah, I mean that's a massive fucking nitpick or a plot hole again.
Yeah. It's just like it's just like why. Yeah, like the fact that it has to be about the specific, and also I guess the question is like, does it? What if you had not as many people, but they were more intelligent? Like, did the Celestial support like education reform? Like when how like we didn't really get kind of like public education until like the 1800s.
Yeah.
Was he there like, yes, finally people are going to be literate?
That's what I'm going to get onto next. So this is another question which of course you talked about, like, oh, public education, Michael. Arishem must have been jumping with joy when that happened on planet Earth. But why does Arishem want the Eternals not to interfere with humanity, since he is just using humanity as an energy source to birth Celestials? Why does he care if the Eternals interfere and help humanity? Like, maybe humanity wouldn't be that smart if everything was just given to them, but you can help them along. Things could have gone a lot quicker, surely. I mean, I've played Civilization Revolution, and I've got tanks in the 18th century before. Like, you could have had the Eternals, speed stuff up. I think that's a reasonable thing for them to do, and like you're talking about public education reform, like have fucking Drubik brainwash them all into starting universities. How about that?
Yeah, that is a good point. Like, yeah, because the only thing he gets out of it is getting his new planets being built. Oh, sorry, not his new. I don't know, like getting the planet to a point where he can be birthed. Like that's his only goal here, and yeah, I would 100% agree that he's not really. Yeah, like, so just cheat, right? Just cheat the game.
Just cheat. I mean, who's stopping you if that's the only thing you care about?
Like, is it like maybe the Celestials, like if you get a reputation for being somebody who uses like cheat codes, it's basically I would like that. Like for the Celestials, it's like a video game, and it's kind of like and I would like to imagine like there are people who do like speed runs, but the rule for like the speed runs is like if you can't use, like there are certain like banned practices.
Yes.
And it's like, and also there are like glitches, so it's kind of like, oh man, I just got the early enlightenment glitch. You just gotta hit it at the exact perfect pixel.
Yeah, maybe it is just a game of Civilization Revolution for the Celestials, and they're like, but we can't. It's it's against the rules if you like brainwash.
Don't load up the world builder.
Yeah, you have to use your Eternals like within the rules of the game. Otherwise, you're cheating. Like there's how Fantasy Premier League or Fantasy Football, and you put a load of money in a pot, and it's like, okay, who can create the most intelligent life form in the shortest amount of time? So it's like a bet all the Celestials have together. Yes. But here's the thing. This doesn't make sense, because also if you stop them fighting and brainwash them to cooperate, that's a big thing about, we're not allowed to interfere with humanity if they want to kill each other. That's what should happen, which is separate from giving tech to them. The reason why that is said is because it's not a principle, and in the end it turns out not to be a principle from Arishem, or you shouldn't interfere. It's because humanity actually they develop quicker when there's wars, and yes, I really don't think that's true at all. Humanity would develop a lot quicker if there wasn't any wars which just wipe out like thousands of people for no reason, just so one king can have some more territory than before. Yeah. Like this idea that warfare inherently leads to development. No, it stunts development. Like, just look at what's going on in Russia and Ukraine right now. Do you think Ukraine is going to develop a lot?
Yeah, Ukraine's advancing. I mean, look at like any kind of like war-torn region of kind of the world on like a global stage. They're not doing well.
Yeah, like what is needed for the advancement of technology is time and research and funding. And obviously, war has been used to, give those things, to people like scientists who create, for instance, the fucking nuclear bomb. But the thing is, there, Michael, it's like you can literally, just have the Eternals like do that, like make the humans cooperate and make them really intelligent. By not having them fight and giving them time and research and resources to create, more technology. You can do that. And again, if there's not this celestial fantasy football game going on, then again, that's something you should do. Like, and I just hate the idea like war is good for development. No, war is bad for development. War does not help countries and peoples like advance. It is bad. But yeah, anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
War is bad.
War is bad. So the Eternals decide to try and save Earth, alright? That's what they decide to do. All that shit we've just talked about for the last 10 to 15 minutes gets thrown at Cersei, in a short period of time, and the audience has to take it in, and she has to take it in. She does a better job than a lot of the audience, I'd wager. And yeah, then she decides, no, we don't want the celestial birth to destroy Earth. And I like how Cersei, by the way, she's like, there must be a way, we can birth the celestial and not destroy Earth. And like, did you not just see the fucking images Arishem showed you? Like the being emerging from the center of the Earth, destroying the whole planet? How can you think there must be a way for this thing to be born and not destroy Earth? Like, I don't know, it's just like it was one little line and they didn't really focus on it again, but I was like, what the that's just...
Yeah, like they didn't see... I was thinking that too, like how, like what's even their idea for a plan here?
Yeah, I know, but anyway, so you're going to have to stop the celestial birth. So then the Eternals figure out that, they're kind of the bad guys. And I want to know, like, why wouldn't this happen on every planet they're on? Ajax knows from the start, but what if she gets killed? Which can clearly happen. Why aren't the Eternals programmed to understand that humanity or whatever world, they're on, is a fine sacrifice if it means the birth of a celestial? Like Arishem, why isn't he programming them to accept that? Why is he programming them to feel attachment towards humans, like, at all? Like, it just seems like, again, from Arishem, a really dumb thing to do. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like finding out that your white blood cells actually get along with the diseases, and then you're just screwed. Basically, it makes no sense, because obviously if there's like this is basically their life cycle, right? Like the Celestial's life cycle is they live in a little Earth egg, and then eventually they hatch. And it's like, it's pretty hard to believe that part of that life cycle, the Eternals doing their job, is something that just can be quite easily overcome by almost all of them immediately deciding, oh, actually, no, we don't want to do this, let's stop.
Yeah, and you think, Arishem could have maybe, again, foreseen that, but no, he didn't foresee the deviants attacking humanity, or the Eternals thinking, actually, you know what, this race of people that I've lived with for thousands of years, that I've formed, relationships and attachments to, and that I look like, I actually don't want them to die. But again, he just fucking, he's an idiot, Arishem. He is a moron. Again, but the thing is, we've just been through all this bit of the movie, and there's just so many plot holes. There's so many, just things which are dumb and stupid and wrong, and the movie does really collapse under the weight of its own incomprehension and stupidity. Yeah, and that's a massive problem with this movie. It really is. And but again, I think it's probably the source material more than anything. Unless they changed it significantly, and maybe just don't make this movie because it's really dumb. Maybe that's what Marvel should have done. But I guess maybe they saw an opportunity to like put a load of different people of different backgrounds in this cast, so they took it. And the character of 7-Up. Or Sprite, sorry, Michael. Sure. Like that joke, yeah. She's hilarious to me. She's a kid, but has the mind of an adult, and still has sexual desires. I think that's what I'm getting because she likes Icarus. So I know a character from a couple of reviews ago who wouldn't mind that.
Yes.
Who am I thinking of, Michael?
You're thinking of Mason. He's not. Is he called Mason? Or am I just making? That's the name. You're thinking of the guy from Lolita, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I think the actor's called Miss something Mason, isn't he?
James Mason, yeah. What's the character called?
It's Humbert.
Yeah,
right?
Humbert, yeah.
Humbert, yeah.
Yeah. So he won't mind that. I mean, Sprite should have been running for the Libertarian Party in America. When they did the whole thing of like, oh, we've got to find like Kingo, we got to find Gilgamesh, oh, we got to find Sprite, and she's like, fucking the mascot for the Libertarian Party. You know.
Yes. Yo, that's a classic libertarian joke.
But also the name Michael Sprite. I just thought about it. Sprite.
It's a funny name.
We've come to the conclusion that Kingo is the best Eternal. Who's the worst Eternal? Because I think it might be Sprite. I think it might be Sprite.
Yeah, I almost felt like I could come up with an Eternals tier list, because I feel like I like the what's his name, Gilgamesh. Yeah, yes, I like Gilgamesh.
He's okay. Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, I mean Icarus and Cersei are kind of blank slates. Yes, which is exactly what you want from your main characters.
No charisma.
Yeah. Makarei, I don't like her because she does make me read subtitles. Makarei.
Makarei. Come on, Michael, it's Makari, the beloved character Makari. Yeah.
Fastos I like because I'm woke. So yeah, I think. And Druig, I don't like him that much because
Druig suck?
I actually find the actor who plays Druig to kind of seem like he's kind of got an annoying face. Like, I hate to say it, but like I personally find his face annoying.
I think he's going to be the next Joker, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, I've seen him in... Okay, so part of it, like, I don't know if you remember, but he was in Dunkirk, and he plays a really stupid... He plays the character in Dunkirk who falls over.
Yeah, that's it. He goes to Dunkirk.
He falls over and dies.
He does fuck all. He does literally fuck all, then he falls down the stairs and dies.
Yeah.
And then he gets a fucking thing in his paper, like, oh, this guy saved... No, he didn't. He did fuck all. Yeah.
And he was in this film called The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is like this weird art film where he basically plays like this mentally challenged kid who like kills people by putting curses on them. And basically what I'm saying
Keegan, by the way. Keegan,
yes, yeah. So what I'm saying is he just comes across as he's got a little bit of a weird kind of dumb energy to him. So he would be probably my set, but then I do agree with you, Sprite is also bad.
Sprite's the worst. I hate Sprite just because of the name as well. What a fucking stupid name. Do you think she got annoyed when the Sprite lemonade company started like, and she was like, oh, everybody's just gonna think of me?
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah,
as the lemonade kid. Yeah.
You know what I would like? You know how like they had that thing where like children's TV characters were actually just kind of products. Like in The Simpsons, they had a thing about like the Chocobot hour. I would like it if all the characters were named after soft drinks.
Okay.
So you just have like Coca-Cola. Anyway, but no, yeah, I agree with you. Sprite's bad.
Sprite is the worst. Fucking Sprite. Like every time I say that name when I think about it, that makes me laugh. Imagine calling your character in your superhero movie Sprite. Anyway, and then we get some Icarus Cersei storyline, which I care so little about. But anyway, they are again attacked by deviants, and they kill them all except for Crow, who kills Gilgamesh before fleeing. So this deviant, can talk now, Michael. Crow can. And I don't know how that has happened. Again, just a bunch of stuff which just isn't explained and is done. He says the Eternals are murderers, though, and deviants just wanted to survive. And, that's correct. You can see his point. Like, they're not the evil deviants that the Eternals have treated them as. But I don't know how he knows about the Celestial being born in Earth and why Arishem sent them. Like, I don't know how does he know that? But whatever. Again, just not explained. But I was wondering, are the Eternals going to consider the question that the Deviants have posed? Like, they're not evil and they're all just puppets of Arishem. Not really, no. They don't spend any time on it. And again, another interesting philosophical question kind of just gets swept under the rug. The movie kind of brings it up, but just doesn't want to do anything with it. Because we're focused on, we still got to get the band back together, Michael. And, there's 10 of them and there's only 2.5 hours to play with. So, next we meet Fastos. And what an introduction. Standing on the ruins of Hiroshima, the Hiroshima nuclear bomb, and saying, "This is my fault." Marvel once again caping for the American military, all the war crimes they've committed. Marvel was like, "We'll take the hit for you. Don't worry, guys." Look, Marvel tried something different here, and that is commendable. There is less quips in this movie, I think, overall, and this is more serious, but it is still so funny to see a character in a fucking Marvel movie like cry in the ruins of Hiroshima and say, "This is all my fault."
Yes.
What do you think of that scene?
No, yeah, I agree with you. Like this whole, again, like the problem is, it's kind of one of those things where like the whole like weird thing about explaining all of the stuff around like the way this is basically such a universe-breaking film, and like they lean into it so much in like the worst way, where it's like, they literally have characters be like, "Oh man, I should have done something to stop this." And it's like, Yeah, you should have. Why are you making that like such a big part of this film? And yeah, obviously, I mean, I agree with you that saying. I mean, I guess to be fair though, what the character is implicitly saying is, I should have stopped America. So maybe that is the. Can you disagree with that?
Yeah, but he implies it's his fault, or maybe he implies that it's just humanity's fault and not America's fault specifically. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, this is humanity, not the America. But whatever, it's just very funny to see that in a Marvel movie. Also, he's gay, Michael.
I thought it was woke. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I suppose actually maybe this would be a good time for me to bring up my factoid, or my point, which is that this film obviously has a lot of representation in it, but it's pretty bad, I think, that like they had a film full of this representation in it, and then they made it bad. And it does, and I don't want to
Are you
suggest
saying
this.
it's like Ghostbusters?
Yeah, yes, Ghostbusters is a good comparison, but also, you could almost imagine that Disney, and I know this is crazy because they've stuck so firmly to their kind of inclusive and kind of principles of representation in the past, especially with regards to like foreign markets and things like that. But it almost gives the impression that they don't actually care about representation, because it's kind of like when you think about their films.
Really? Whoa, really? Whoa.
Yeah, like it's kind of like because they chose to have this film that was like where the representation was the central thing be this film that was kind of totally irrelevant and entirely expendable.
I mean, like to be fair, they did sink a lot of money into it. I just think
that is true. Yeah, you think they're just bad?
Yeah, I think the source material clearly hurt this movie quite a bit. But they were just like, well, we've got literally. I imagine it's the same in the comics. Like these superheroes are from all different races. Obviously 5 women, 5 men. One of them's death. One of them's gay. And that's not like a disability or anything, but you know what I mean.
No, yeah, it's fine. It's an example of representation.
Yeah, it's like, from all corners of humanity. It makes sense, but the problem is the movie the source material or maybe, I don't know, maybe they changed the source material to make it dumber. But it's a dumb movie, which is the issue here, really. But yeah, obviously, we get on to Phastos, who, he's happy to, join the band again. He proposes the Unimind, a connection between all Eternals that would give Druig enough power to put Tiamat to sleep with his mind control powers. Good thing Druig wasn't the one who was killed then. It was just the guy who could punch really fast. That's good.
That is actually very convenient.
Yeah. Anyway, Icarus reveals that Ajax told him of the emergence centuries before. So this is what Icarus... Well, he reveals it to himself in a flashback, which is dumb. But anyway, Icarus... Yes. Yeah. So Ajax told him she wishes to stop the emergence, and he led her to the deviants who killed her. So Ajax wants to save humanity, Michael. We'll talk about this.
By the way, you're giving yourself away as a football fan by calling her Ajax.
No, seriously, I keep on doing it, and I keep on having to correct myself.
Yeah, like you just love your sports ball.
Fucking, and we're trying to buy some players from Ajax as well, Man United. So it's on my mind. But anyway, so
wait, what was your question again?
No, so Ajax. So she wants to save humanity just because there's something special and different about humans. Like, why is that the case? I don't know. From what they've seen of humans, we're pretty bad. Like, we kill people and genocide people, which is probably the same with a lot of races across the galaxy. But why is there something different about us, Michael?
Yeah, I mean that's so. Obviously, this is something which you get a lot in sci-fi, where it's like, oh man, human beings are different, and it's the obvious answer would be, well, there isn't. There's no reason why we should be different, but I guess it's just because, the people watching the film, I guess.
Yeah, we can relate. Yeah, we are special. We are special as humans. Yeah, we are. And then there's no reason, really. She said something about the Thanos, maybe because we reversed the Thanos snap. I don't know, it happened on Earth.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but yeah, in general, it's the same fucking shit that Doctor Who does, where the Doctor is like, oh yeah, humans, I love you humans, even though you do a lot of stupid, dumb shit, I still love you. It's like, why? Look at our world. Literally look at it. There's nothing to love here. There's nothing to smile about in our lives. But anyway, so the twist, Michael, the twist that Icarus, as of course, he knew all along what the Eternals were sent here for. It kind of makes sense, but why has Icarus not been trying to convince Cersei to not stop this emergence from happening throughout the movie? He says this has gone on.
Yeah.
He walks in a room, and says this has gone on long enough and destroys the thing that Phastos is making. But he hasn't been, trying to stop it, throughout the movie. And it was just so the movie could have this twist, so it could be like, oh, Icarus is the bad guy. But the thing is, he wanted, if you think about it, with the thing with Phastos, he wanted Phastos to join them. He mocked Phastos when he was using his his powers to protect his house.
Yes.
Like did the thing from his eyes. It's like, see, you're still using your powers. You haven't given up, have you, Phastos? And it's just like, so again, if he really didn't want this to happen, why would he be encouraging Phastos? He should be like throughout the movie, Phastos, you don't really want to join us. Cersei, it's not worth it, But he just seemed to just go with the flow throughout it, which is stupid. Also, they can have this twist. Yes. So yeah, got anything to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There's no, like, logically it makes no sense. It's right up there with Emperor Palpatine and Phantom Menace, just actively going against the logic that his plan would suggest he should have.
Yes, that's a good point. Never good to compare anything to Phantom Menace, yes. He's sitting on a rock in Babylon and he just remembers him killing Ajax. There we go, got it right. And it's like,
Yes.
Do you think, it would be better if he like revealed that to Cersei or the other main characters?
Yeah, I thought that was a weird way of revealing it too.
Yeah, it's so weird. And then Druig somehow figures it out. And that's how it's revealed to the group, like, oh, he killed her. It's like, how did you know that, Druig? How did you know that, pal? At this point, Michael, you're just wishing for this movie to end. Just so many stupid things piling up, one after the other. Anyway, I've got another question for you, Michael. You ready?
Good. I'm ready.
Why does Cersei want to save humanity?
I mean, you've kind of asked the question generally about what humanity being special.
She doesn't really say that though, but that's what Ajax says to fucking Icarus.
Yeah.
Why? What?
Well,
why
for her,
Cersei...
I mean, is it because she's got like her sexy boyfriend?
Is that the reason?
I mean, that would maybe make sense.
The point is, Michael, is like she doesn't really have like a reason.
A motivation. Yeah.
It's like she just thinks it's wrong for that to happen. She doesn't really stand up to Icarus, when Icarus announces, like, no, this is happening, I serve Arishem. Instead, she just stands meekly in the corner, as it's Phastos who is arguing with Icarus. Phastos is the one who's, like, going at Icarus and saying, no, we need to save humanity. Ajax chose her, so, okay, I guess fine, that's what she did. Or Ajax. And this is...
Yes.
This is why having Kit Harington along for the ride could make sense, because he would be the reason as to why she cares about, saving humanity. He could give her that inspiring speech, that convinces her to stand up to Icarus and go and save Earth. It wouldn't be... Remember who gives that inspiring speech, Michael?
Wonder Woman. No. Sorry, I was just thinking about Wonder Woman's inspiring speech in the Wonder Woman 1984.
Great.
No, yeah, who gives the inspiring speech in the film?
The motivation.
The motivational speech. Yeah, I remember there is one, and I have a memory of a character doing it, but is it?
She's in the room with Cersei.
Yeah, isn't it Angelina Jolie?
It is Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
well
okay,
done.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. Why would it be Angelina Jolie? Of course, Thena, who plays a character who has hardly interacted with Cersei.
Yes.
Why would she be giving her the pump up speech just before the third act? That doesn't make sense. Like Kit Harington would make more sense, but I guess they just had Angelina Jolie do it because it's like, oh, she's a famous actor. We need to get her to do that. Also, why does Icarus want to serve Arishem? We don't really have a motivation for why, or it's not really explained as to why Cersei wants to save humanity. Why does Icarus want to serve Arishem? There's no real reason.
Yeah,
for
so
that.
they don't go. Yeah, it's kind of arbitrary that they have their specific motivations.
Yeah. He just thinks Arishem knows what he's doing, I guess. It could be. Here's the thing. It could be an interesting philosophical discussion about life and rebirth and all of that kind of stuff. Also, which is I kind of half expected, they don't do a cop out and find out the Celestials don't actually need to be born inside planets for life on other planets to exist.
Yeah.
Meaning that they can engage with the philosophical question that is posed. Should we is it wrong to kill everyone so you can have death and rebirth and all of that? But no, they don't engage really at all, and they just go and do a CGI fight. Really, that's what happens. But I guess this movie is pro-choice, Michael, because they want to abort the Celestial.
You know what? I was thinking of making a joke about that too, but I couldn't quite make it work in my head. Yes.
So this movie Eternals is against the Roe v. Wade reversal. I was gonna make a joke about would the Republican lawmakers think that it's okay to abort a Celestial's birth, even if it's to save the life of humanity? Yeah, well, that's the crucial thing. It should be humanity's choice, Michael.
Yeah, but also, I mean, you've got to bear in mind that also the Earth didn't consent to having the Celestial inside it. So does the fact it was non-consensual make a difference?
I don't think so, no. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no on that, Michael. What do you think?
I think, you know what, I think that, to be honest, yeah, it doesn't actually make a difference either way. I think that ultimately the Earth's choice. It was the Earth's body, the Earth's choice.
Yeah. Humanity, they've got rights as well, just like every species in the galaxy, you know, and they don't deserve to die. I mean, sorry, you're going to have to come up with another way, you know, fucking Arishan Pal, to get your planets born, you know. And anyway, so we get a typical Marvel third act CGI schlockfest with a bunch of CGI stuff, unsurprisingly.
Yes.
So Druig can't put Tiamat to sleep, and Cersei instead attempts to turn him into marble. Oh yeah, that's right. They have this thing with Cersei; she can't turn living things into different like objects, but then she can.
Yes.
And characters ask her, "How did she do that?" And she's just like, "I don't know." It's like, well, that's great. Well, I guess if that's the answer the character gives, you don't need to explain that. Then you can just have her do that. So there we go. Maybe it's because she's got more power because she's the leader of the Eternals. I don't know. But anyway, it's meant to be, you know, very emotional, of course, when Ikaris breaks free of his restraints and tries to kill Cersei, but finds himself unable to due to his love for her. The thing is, again, like it's not emotional, of course, at all, because these characters are so uncharismatic and boring. But he doesn't do it for the right reasons. Like, just because he loves Cersei, not because he wants to save humanity and stop like a genocide. You know, he just does it because he likes Cersei. Again, this is the problem with this movie. These are the problems of the mighty gods. You know, nothing is grounded. It's like a Greek myth come to life. It's very hard to relate to these characters. You know, they don't do stuff. You know, they are like fucking Icarus, especially like Dr. Manhattan. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, when he flies away to, you know, and doesn't like end humanity, it's just because he loves someone else. He's not being really heroic, really. I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it kind of it makes me think about like I feel like I remember seeing in a Red Letter Media thing where it's like, oh no, the Green Goblin's gonna rob a bank, and they're like kind of saying that with reference to like the MCU. And like I was kind of thinking about how like it's sort of hilarious that in the MCU, if you're like a low level criminal, like even like a mob boss or a bank robber or whatever else, like the kind of, you know, criminal who usually your superheroes would be fighting against, you would literally be entirely unaffected by the fact you live in the MCU. Like you could just do all the crime, all like the exploitation, the extortion, the thievery, the like everything.
Yes.
It's,
yeah, I know. Yeah. Anyway, Icarus, he flies into the sun.
Yes, he does, which is that's what's the word? A reference.
I was going to say poetic, but yeah.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
God, I bet when they wrote that into the script, they thought they were so clever.
So funny.
Cersei, do you think when he was flying into the sun, do you think he thought, "Oh, this is such a cliche.
I know, yeah.
I can't believe I'm doing this."
Yeah.
Anyway, Cersei.
I like to think actually he was thinking to himself like he was like. He thought it was really clever, and like he thought he was too clever, so he was like, "I hope they get the reference."
So Cersei uses the remaining energy from the Unimind. Again, I don't know how this works. I thought, you know, she wasn't in the Unimind anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, she turns Sprite into a human, ending her
Yes.
permanent childlike state. Sorry, why the fuck would you do that? This little fucking brat stabbed you in the back. Turn her into a fucking baby. Fuck her. I can't. God, I mean, maybe this is why they're heroes, Michael, because they can forgive. No, but fuck
Yes.
Sprite, Michael. Fuck Sprite. Turn her into a fucking, you know, like a baby. Like, have her live out the rest of her days like that. If someone stabbed me in the back, you know,
Well, if she was turned into a baby, to be fair. Oh wait, okay, so it's right. Turned permanently into a baby. For a minute, I thought you were saying like turned into a baby, like so she'd grow up.
No.
And I was like, well, then she just gets to live longer. But no, yeah, I get you.
Yeah, but anyway, so and again, all my homies say fuck Sprite. But anyway, so Cersei, Phastos, and Kingo remain on Earth as well. How has Kingo just snaked his way back into the Eternals too? You know, like he's like, I support. You know, I don't know why he wasn't in the last fight. It was just very weird.
So that you couldn't show off his body. The only reason.
Chloe Zhao is torturing Camille and Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing. He's just like, no, I agree with the Celestials, you know, blowing up Earth. You know, I'm sticking with Icarus. Why he sticks with Icarus, why he has that motivation, again, not explained at all. But he had it, and then he gets snakes his way back in at the end. He's like, oh yeah, how's it going, guys? I'm good old comic relief Kingo. I'm back again, even though I didn't join you in fighting Icarus, but whatever. And Sprite gets to attend high school, which is great for her. I'm sure she'll love that. But yeah, at the end, Michael Dane professes his love for Cersei and is about to reveal a secret about his family history. New spin-off Disney Plus show activated. But Phastos and Kingo are lifted into space by Arishem. Displeased with their treason, Arishem says he'll spare humanity if the Eternals' memories show that humans are worthy of living. And they thought they were getting a sequel, Michael.
Yes. Like, that's the thing. I was looking into it, and I guess I don't know to what extent you've looked into it. Obviously, I couldn't look into it too much because I didn't want to see the box office and the budget or anything like that. But I was kind of like trying to, as much as I could, see whether or not there was any plans for a sequel. Like, if they had any idea at all, like if they were still saying they were going to do a sequel, or if they were resolutely saying they wouldn't, or if they were just being suspiciously silent about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. These characters aren't popular.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I just found? In November 2021, Kaz and Ryan Firpo expressed interest in making an Eternals prequel series for Disney+. And they are always good.
That's the thing.
Actually, in January 2022, Chan said she would reprise the role of Cersei in the future.
That's the thing, though. You'd need a prequel series. Like, you'd do the prequel series first, then maybe have the movie after. Yeah, have the prequel stuff on Disney+, then do a full Eternals movie, Maybe that would be, I think that would be a lot better. Why am I in charge of Disney's, fucking content strategy?
Yeah, I got Hoop Dreams, coach.
Okay, yeah, put me in. Anyway, and Harry Styles at the end, did you?
Oh, yeah, that's the interesting thing. Yeah, like, where are they going with that, man?
I don't know.
Harry.
I do not care.
Yes.
I do not care. Harry Styles, great, wonderful. I remember that was literally the most interesting thing from the movie, the fucking mid-credit scene. But anyway, fucking Harry Styles. Go on, Michael, let's conclude on this god-awful movie.
Yeah. So this film was boring. That's how I'd describe it. And it was... Like, the thing is, there's nothing really... There's nothing exciting about it. Like, and part of it is, like, with these Marvel... I mean, it feels, like, different, because, like, with these Marvel films, usually I'd just be like, oh, yeah, it was, it was not terrible, but not great. And, some of the Marvel films have been worse than others. But, yeah, this one really just, like, felt... It felt like kind of just one of those terrible sci-fi films. Like, for example, I mean, there's Jupiter Ascending by the, what's it called? The Wachowskis. There was obviously After Earth by M. Night Shyamalan. There was that weird film with Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland called, I think, Chaos Walking, where like, everyone could read each other's thoughts. And the point is, I'm listing all of these random films that nobody cared about and everyone thought were just like boring and pointless, because that's exactly what this film feels like. It feels like just one of those random, overly kind of like needlessly deep lore, all of these weird concepts that don't quite work, sci-fi film where like whoever wrote this, like it feels like the kind of film that would be written by a nerd who doesn't think that characters matter. And
so like most
that's
nerds.
not, yeah. It actually reminds me of, like, I've seen a lot of people who, as you know, Luke, I've been working on my rewrites of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and I'm working on The Last Jedi right now. But in doing that, I found, like, several other people who have attempted their own rewrites, and I'm not saying mine's better, but what I've seen from a lot of people is they've, like, just stuffed their Star Wars rewrites with, like, all of these over-the-top concepts from the expanded universe.
Okay.
So they're like all this stuff, and the point is, it's bad, and like they don't have any character stuff, and that's what this is. So actually, now that I've said all of that, let me apply a number to it.
Okay.
Oh.
No, I was just going to say I've also done a Star Wars rewrite for The Last Jedi, and I have focused on characters as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't focus on other stuff.
That's the most interesting part, Michael. But anyway, go on. What are you giving Eternals?
I think a middling 2 for being boring and pointless.
You know what? A 2.5 I think is a very fair rating. So I shall also give it a 2.5 out of 10, which is worse than Minions, actually.
I would legit rather watch Minions than this.
I wouldn't. I don't know.
Well, I see part of it. I mean, as always, like sometimes, like some of it does come down to the length, and in some sense, like
oh yeah, good point.
It always feels
good
weird
point.
to say length counts against a film.
Yeah,
but it kind of does. Like if I'm going to watch a film. Like, because there are many films that are worse than this that I would, like, objectively worse, but I would rather watch them because they're shorter.
Yeah, actually, that is a good point. Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought the Minions' length worked against it because it was just so obvious that they were being really lazy and just trying to get to 90 minutes. But yeah, this is just, a lot of it's very boring. But yeah, anyway, 2.5 out of 10. Like, nothing works in this movie. Really, nothing does. And, you need a movie to explore these characters before this one, or a prequel series, or whatever. And then you can do something with a massive twist, like a celestial being born when they're in the planet in the second one. Because there's a lot of big concepts that are thrown around. And if you had a prequel or a movie beforehand, then the audience is knowledgeable of these concepts, and you don't have to just stuff your movie with them and explain everything. And you make just stuff so much more complicated, and it just makes everything so hard to follow and not fun. Basically, if that's what you have to do, and that's what this movie had to do. And none of these characters that are involved, of course, mean anything to us either. Maybe I suggested you need an everyman, or you need another movie first. I mean, again, so much needs to be crammed in. So many concepts do. It just squeezes out, a very important thing, like the character arcs or the character development, and these characters we see are just like weird gods who we don't know, and it is, people compare it to like Man of Steel, and it is kind of like Man of Steel-esque with just Superman just being this god who's just above humanity, nothing's grounded, and it's just like, just these gods battling in humanity is just like little pawns. And then that's the case with these Eternals, it feels like at the end. Like Cersei, he had an opportunity not to do that, and they don't really do it either. So yeah, it's really bad, and of course all of these interesting philosophical ideas, that could have been brought up, that the movie kind of brings up, just die right away. They're just shelved immediately. And yeah, Arishem and a lot of things are dumb as well. Arishem especially, he's one dumb motherfucker is Arishem, and I hate Sprite as well. So yeah, 2.5 out of 10. For this one, Michael. So let's do the Rotten Tomatoes stuff now, the receipts. So we forgot to do the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness Rotten Tomatoes receipts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was from
ages ago.
Yeah, ages ago, like late April, early May. So you guessed 78, I guessed 87. The answer was 74, which means you score 4 and I score 13, which added on to the totals that we, of course, had last time. Means that you have 39 and I have 42, which means you are actually winning by 3. So
yes,
beforehand, I was winning by 3, and now you're winning, I think, by 3. Is that right?
I really switched flipped the script.
You really, you really did, Michael. You really did flip the old script. Also, was I winning by 6 and now you're winning by 3? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. So the point is, so let's do Minions now, Michael. Of course, we reviewed Minions last week because of Minions: The Rise of Gru. And Minions: The Rise of Gru has got on Rotten Tomatoes an extremely surprising 72%.
Wow, I saw that it was doing really well at the box office.
Yep. Great, so there's going to be another one after this. But anyway, that means that you, Michael, you have, of course, you guessed...
Well, wait, what did we guess? Yeah.
You guessed 55, I guessed 52, which means you're 17 off, and I'm 20 off, which means your 39 becomes 56, and my 42 now becomes 62. So you are now winning by 6. Okay, so you have stretched your lead by 3 points once more. So, Michael, let us now guess Thor: Love and Thunder. The Rotten Tomatoes score for Thor: Love and Thunder. You're ahead by 6. So are you ready? Got a number in your head?
I do, yeah.
Okay, right, let's do it then. 3, 2, 1,
94.
88.
I think I said it before you, but it doesn't matter either way.
I mean,
I'm going for, I think this film is going to be good.
Okay.
And I also thought I'd go for 94. So this way, so basically you'd have to get it bang on, and then actually, well, to be fair, no, if it's less than 88, then you draw even, right? Yeah.
So there's So let's see. So I've guessed 88. You've guessed 94. Yeah, we're both. These Thor movies are normally decent, but yeah, that would be extremely high if it is 94. But we'll see. So we'll see who's right next week. Who's closer, maybe. But anyway, Michael, what movie are we reviewing next week?
Next week we are doing some might say a slight jump in quality to a film called
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird. Yes.
For a minute I was about to start with the mocking. I was about to play for a film called I think like in my head I accidentally started thinking about the Hunger Games Mockingjay.
Oh right, great. Yeah, a comparable movie. Anyway, join us next week for To Kill a Mockingbird, the 1962 version. There's been another for its 60-year anniversary because the book was released in the middle of July or whatever. But join us for that. Who have you been, Michael?
I've been Michael.
I've been Luke. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Fuck Sprite.